What's going on, people? This is Dumb Orange 927, and here today, guys, I'm showing you another video, and I am sort of trying to say how to get better at a Call of Duty. So, like many try to say Call of Duty take no skill, like even a 5-year-old could pick it up and play, and that's completely false. So, when you play Call of Duty has a very different ideal than a lot of other shooters out there, and we're gonna help do that. So there are 3 skills you need to do to fully master Call of Duty. You need a physical skill, a mental skill, and emotional skill. Now we'll start out with the physical traits. Physical, okay, this isn't real life physical, but just in general for the game, you have to have really good reflexes. You have to have really at least decent eyesight, and overall, you need to be able to react quickly in things, because you have to realize COD gunfights don't last that long, unlike other shooters. Unlike Halo, Destiny, and heck, even Battlefield to an extent, the TTK are much higher in those games, and because of that, you have longer time to react. However, with this, you don't. Like with Call of Duty, the TTK is so low that if someone gets the jump on you and you can't react in less than a second, then you're essentially dead meat. So it's kind of up to you to have really good reflexes, and overall just make sure you tap that trigger finger fast. You have to be able to aim right. So yeah, like that's your physical demand for Call of Duty. Now we'll move on to the mental. Mental demand is sort of like how you think. It's kind of like, how you play game. And this really applies more into really competitive game types such as Search and Destroy, where you kind of have to rely a lot on strategy. You have to sort of be able to coordinate. You have to really have good communication with your team and sort of stuff, because again, you don't want to be like right next to each other, because again, you die so quickly that someone could literally get the jump on you in a room and just kill you all. But you at least want to be in a range where if you die by an enemy, you can tell your allies where you died by that enemy, and they could quickly get to there, and they may still encounter the enemy. So that it's a very useful thing. And also, when you're a team leader in Search and Destroy and modes like that, you have to be able to adapt strategies, because not everything is going to go the way you planned. Like, for example, imagine you're playing Search and Destroy and you have a dude guard the bomb with a shotgun, but then it turns out that the guy with the shotgun just got sniped in the head before he made it to the position. That's now one less player. That's now 7 versus 8, and you kind of have to adapt that strategy. You sort of have to remotely engage enemies a lot more diligently, and in order to do that, you have to adapt your strategy. As well as helping with your mental skill is kind of being able to properly position yourself. Like you have to make sure you have decent cover systems and stuff. That way you can really get the jump on opponents, as well as just in case if things get sour, you could try at the last second to get into cover. But yeah, that's kind of the idea for that. And now, last but not least, we have emotional skill. And this one is a very hard one, especially for younger players to really master, because part of having an emotional skill is being able to, one, motivate your team to do well, as well as make the enemy team feel really bad and stuff. And it's also controlling yourself when you make a mistake. The issue with so many younger players is that every time they die, they sort of scream, they sort of act like, that shouldn't have happened, blah, blah, blah. And, when in grim reality, it should just say, hey, I made a mistake. And while you do want to learn from that mistake, you don't want to keep thinking about that mistake. Because if you keep thinking about a mistake, then you're more than likely going to do more mistakes. And then it's just beneficial to no one. And then you just do worse and worse and worse and worse. So, you kind of have to sort of remotely do that, where you have to control your emotions, and when that's going on, you want your team to do well, but you also want the enemy team to gradually do worse. And so let's say like you did something that really humiliated this one player on the enemy team. That's good, because then he's gonna be losing confidence. And if the enemy team lose confidence that they're gonna win, then you see they start doing worse and worse and worse. So, it's kind of a psychological effect there. And that's kind of the emotional skill you can do when playing that. Now, the key to all three skills, though, is balance. There's a lot of different skills you can use for Call of Duty, but it seems like a lot of them just use one. For example, my friend of mine, Dusk Thunder 9, he's a great physical skillsman. He has really good reflexes. He's very aware of his environment. He has great awareness. It's good. Me, I'd consider myself more of a mental player. I very much think coordination and sort of a base strategist. I'm not very good with physical and emotional skill because, emotional I keep calm, but with physical skill I very lack in that because I'm not good with reflexes. I'm kind of a person by the plan, and that's why I try to kind of go like that. And so in modes like Team Deathmatch, I sort of try to stick near my team members, sort of. That way I know if I die, they can know of my death and then be able to get to my position and stuff. So, that's genuinely what I do. And, and some are really strong emotionally, like they can very much motivate their team into doing really good, and maybe they're controlled emotions, but maybe stuff like, because a lot of mental players' weakness is apparently emotional with mental players, because they're kind of they kind of panic when things don't go to plan. And I try to remain calm, but I do panic when things don't go to plan. And a lot of physical players' weakness is mental, because they and maybe the emotional is lack of mental, maybe they try to motivate their team, but they don't really know how to actually lead them, so the key to being good at Call of Duty is trying to balance the physical, mental, and emotional skill. And you're wondering why you should do that, and it's one word: consistency. when you're playing MLG tournaments, you don't even have to be... When you play these tournaments on Call of Duty, you don't have to be the best player in the world. Because a team leader is much gonna prefer... they're gonna prefer a lot more... they prefer a consistent player, you know, like they'd rather have a player that has very consistent kills and deaths and like overall you can rely on them on a certain thing. They don't like players that have it where one match they do insanely well and then the next they screw everything up. You know, they don't like players that do that because it's inconsistent, it's unreliable. You don't know what he's going to be doing. And, you know, that's why you sort of have to try to learn to balance all three to retain a level of consistency. You know? So, that's how you get better at Call of Duty in my view. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. By the way, I appreciate, the dude who provided these clips. I forgot the name. I'll post a link in the description. But, you know, he kind of helped me with a lot of the opinions I have. So, you know, just thank you very much for watching. And yeah, this is Dumb Orange 927 and peace out.